Hello, guys. This is October 4th, and this is community call number. I don't know what number. I guess we should count them at some point, Gene, so we know how many we did. They were lots, I guess. So yeah, we are, as you know, in the depths of bear market, but we keep building, of course, because we are here for technology and for changing the world. And of course, I mean, also for some financial gain. I'm not going to lie to you, but mostly for changing the world. So I guess that the most important thing going on this week from the point of view of development is that we already or almost have finished this new fixes that we are going to push very soon to the testnet. We are going to, well, we have, as you know, we started we deployed the first version of the testnet for V2, I guess more or less 2 months ago, maybe. And then this is what lots of people tested it. We got lots of feedback, and we compiled all of this feedback into quite big fix that is going to be pushed quite soon. I think we're going to do this maybe next few days, or maybe next week. And lot of the questions that we had about the notifications and stuff that didn't work, it's going to be fixed in that. This will also require a redeployment of all of the testnet. So we will have to stake again. Well, and this hopefully is going to be the last time that you have to do it. And then we will test this a bit more, try to gather more feedback, and try to do a bit more fixes. And then I guess we are ready for, the audits. As you know, every piece of code that you push into a blockchain app needs to be very much audited, because there are lots of different things that can go wrong, that we don't want to go wrong. So, and then, I guess that we will be already seeing the coming of the mainnet V2, which is very exciting because it will bring lots of different, exciting stuff, like, as you know, the possibility of adding new modules that will, bring a number of highly demanded features by lots of different partners, like, SBTs, courts where you can select jurors based on their skills or based on their belonging to some community, courts where you can have one person, one vote. So we have lots of different things that we want to push, because it will unblock a number of use cases that now cannot be done because of the lack of some features that are required by some partners. I think this is a good moment for William to maybe give his research update, as he is actually researching these type of things about SBTs and improving the code.
Yeah. So, continue to do research to design future modules to take advantage of this modularity of the next version of the court, particularly around things like voting systems for non-binary cases, and in the case of SBTs, for new juror selection modules. So there, the idea is that, as Federico alluded to, that maybe people will have some sort of social information that sort of indicated by SBTs they have, that will be somehow used in the drawing process. So a very initial idea we've had about this is that in order to be drawn as a juror, you might have to be on proof of humanity. That way you can limit people to one person, one vote. You could also have SBTs for certain kinds of qualifications, so that in some courts, in order to be drawn, you need to maybe be on proof of humanity and have an SBT that you have an appropriate qualification. And then if you have sort of an ecosystem of SBTs and maybe appeal courts, you can have interesting questions around maybe you have multiple different kinds of qualifications that are relevant. Maybe you have a curated list that's, sort of uses Kleros as an arbitrator to determine what SBTs are relevant. And you have you can have like sort of weighting questions like, okay, I want like a diverse panel of people that have lots of different viewpoints as indicated by their SPTs. So we sort of inspired ourselves based on some work that people interested in quadratic funding, sort of Glenn Weil and his sort of community researchers have done to try to think about how you could use SPTs in quadratic funding contribution weighting, so that projects that get sort of supported by a lot of different groups of people could have like disproportionate weight. You could sort of read more about their ideas in the Decentralized Society paper from last year, I guess. And then we sort of asked you to do something similar with Kleros, if you could like have like an SPT weighting for jury selection. So I've been thinking about this. It's still sort of preliminary. Even the quadratic funding people's like ideas are very preliminary. But at some point, I hope to share these ideas with you in blog article form, at least, and eventually some module. So beyond that, for our sort of research team updates, our PhD student Jan has been doing behavioral experiments on different voting systems that could be used in voting modules for the future version of the court. And he's wrapping up his last planned behavioral experiment before he heads off to Stanford for his visiting position there. So
that's cool, right? I mean, going to Stanford for 6 months, and study at the Codex Center for Legal Informatics, and he's going to have fun. Yeah. Okay. So as you know, let me give you some big picture for those that are not very familiar. So when we started Kleros, we launched the first version of Kleros in 2018 in July. The only way in which you could build what we were building was with token voting, because we didn't have any civil, identity protocol that we could use to have one person per account. So people could just make different addresses and civil attack the court by splitting the tokens in different places. So the only way to do Kleros back then was through token voting, which is, of course, this works very well. But there is a number of situations or use cases where people want to have a different voting system. They want, either because they want to make sure that people who are accepted into a court have some expertise, maybe because they want to have a one person, one vote system. All of this was not possible with the first version of Kleros because of, as I said, no ID system made this impossible. And token voting was okay, but as I said, it was not good enough for some use cases. So now that we are able to start adding these modules, we will be able to address these new use cases. And this is likely to bring lots more adoption for the court. And also the fact that it's going to be deployed on a rollup is going to make it way cheaper. And as you know, if we want to address like lower value cases, in particular, for example, those involving content moderation, for example, we need Kleros to be cheaper than what was possible in the Ethereum mainnet, right? So V2 or Kleros 2.0 is going to be a very big release, and then there's not going to be another new release in the sense of there's not going to be like a Kleros 3.0 anytime soon. What is going to happen is that the new improvements are going to be added through modules. So you kind of plug new modules into the court, and then by these modules you add like the one person one vote system, or you add the SBT selection, or you add the quadratic vote, or whatever decision logic that we end up developing. So our focus is going to be more on the side of making new modules and plugging them into the court, right? So that's going to be our focus in research and development after we deploy Kleros 2.0. Okay, Jean, I think we have a bunch of updates about MetaMask. Yeah, I will let you comment on all this.
Yes, we have. Of course, we renewed the incentive program that we have for the token registry, the tag address registry, and the domain registry. And there's now a dashboard that you can see. I'll post very soon. Actually, did not post yet, but to be out very soon. A dashboard that created by Guamian, where you can see each the submissions on each different chain and each different registry, and it will be very easy to spot chains that can be where you can submit and get like a bigger reward for it, because there's a formula that we want to incentivize submissions on 4 different chains and these 3 registries like equally. And also we have this week we had a video from a DeFi influencer or someone that researches DeFi, a very complete video about Kleros, and I recommend you to check it out and give him a positive feedback so he can continue covering Kleros in the future. He already made a video about proof of humanity before, so it's very nice to see he writing about us now, and soon he will have a lot more material to cover. And we'll have the bootcamp. The Founders Bootcamp application period is almost over. We have 1 more week left for taking applications. So if you know someone building a project on Web3, please ask them to check the project details and consider applying, because it might be a great opportunity to maybe make a side project into something that there is like relevant and can be launched and bring projects to life. We have some, of course, have the help from the Kleros team and the know-how or know-how, and also our community can help you get the project running. So that's last week for applications, and yeah, I think there are more things, but this is what I'm very happy for now.
We also have the fellowship applications are open as well. If you want to do research about different aspects of Kleros, you can see the post, and there's a bunch of tracks that you can work on. Then I think we are slowly becoming a very big curation element in all of the ecosystem. The MetaMask Snap is extremely popular. I know. Do we know how many people downloaded it already? Our Snap?
Yeah, I think it was 7,000 the last time we checked, but this was, I believe, in the first week. So right now it's probably a lot more.
So 7,000 people who are using Web3 secured by Kleros, could we say, right?
Yes.
And I think that the same could be said about Etherscan. I think now it's public because it's already on the interface, right?
Yes, we have. It's already out. We have our address tags are now live on Etherscan, but not only on Etherscan. It's also on other block explorers that use the same interface. So it's also live on Polygon Scan and Binance Smart Chain Scan. And next week, probably there will be a couple more chains that will integrate our tags and also the tokens list. So it's getting it's becoming very useful to get registered on this list, because you get registered on the list and it's out on Etherscan, on the Kleros MetaMask plugin, and also on the Ledger plugin. So it's becoming a standard.
Yeah, I mean, MetaMask, Etherscan, and Ledger. So, this is becoming a big part of securing the Web3 ecosystem. So that's most of our efforts now are put there in trying to, transform, this Kleros curation into like a big part of Web3. So we have that as well. Then let me see if we have SUSI and Kleros Moderate. We are doing different like backend improvements to make it, work better. So nothing too interesting on the front end, and starting to add it into a number of different groups. I think that there is now we have SUSI into a Spanish group, so people who can resolve cases coming from the Spanish speaking communities about content moderation. I mean, they should stake into what court, Jean? I think it was moderación. I don't remember.
It's curación en español. Yes, we also, if you are listening and you know Spanish, we recommend you to stake in that court, because we will be making some more cases in the next couple of weeks, and it's probably a high chance of having a case.
Yeah, I think there was a whale of 14,000 PNK having most of the votes. So I think that we should, maybe add more jurors into that court. If you want to resolve cases in the context of content moderation in Spanish, and you can do it because you speak Spanish, you can, stake there. And then, other things going on in the background, but which are not really public yet. I know, Marcos, if you want to add something from business development of the things that can be said, of course.
Yeah, of course. We have some updates from the B team. In first place, we have a new incentive program. So whoever is interested on this, we have more information. Well, I think Jean was the one that was publishing some information in the Telegram group. And then this week we have one very important call with a project that was the winner in the build-a-thon of Ethereum Argentina, and is interested in using Kleros for dispute resolution. So we are having some calls with them, and we are going to have more information in the next weeks. And then we have another call with another project from Argentina too, that is called Mi Activo. In English, it would be My Asset. And they are too interested in using Kleros for dispute resolution. So, yeah. And the last thing, we are close to achieve 200 integrations with Kleros. So that would be a very good step for us. The idea is to achieve this for the end of this year.
That's a good tweet when it happens. Okay, so that I guess from me, last thing, I will be doing a talk in about 2 hours and a half in the Seed Latam community about Kleros governance and what we can learn on the history of political philosophy and how we can use those ideas for improving DAO governance. As you know, DAO governance is a topic that we have been we have researched for a long time at Kleros, and the first time I talked about this was in the I think it was in the DevCon Osaka conference. That was the first time I spoke about the Supreme Court as a service, let's say, and then Jimmy Ragosa did another talk at the DJC. And my last talk about this in the Ethereum Paris was very successful, and I was asked to do another talk in the Spanish community of Seed Latam. That's going to be today, and this is going to be a bit longer because in the Ethereum Paris I had to make it way shorter because they only gave me 25 minutes. Now it's going to be as Jean said, director cut. So it's going to be way longer talk. a lecture basically about DAO governance and what we can learn from the history of political philosophy and that. I guess that's it. Anything else to add, Jean? I think that's it.
No, I think just would like to mention that Citatem is basically creating a kind of a corpus of content about governance in Latam, and I think it's nice that we have this talk there.
Okay, well, I guess for those who are going to the talk, see you there. For the rest, have an excellent week, and you can claim your POAP. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
See you.
Yeah.